the Gaethje
Sorry, go
Dustin
ahead.
fight. Obviously, we just spoke a little bit about the Gaethje Dustin Poirier fight. Great fight, I think. The first one was stellar. This one was killer. Do you think there'll be a trilogy?
Oh, that's a good question. Will there be a trilogy? I don't think so. To be honest, I don't think so. I think
What
Poirier's got maybe a few fights left, and he's going to retire. I think.
I feel
What's
that
next? Do you
as
think?
well.
I
As
think
soon as
for what's next
I think
for
that as soon
Poirier? I
as
think he should
you
fight Beneil.
Poirier, you're gonna fucking
Hmm.
sell hot sauce, bro. I think as soon as you go out of the dirty gyms and the training, and you got other businesses like McGregor did. He's got the Proper 12 and the other thing he's doing, and Poirier's got the charity and the hot sauce thing. I think it kind of shows you how good life is without all this training, getting beat up every day, breaking your knuckles, blah blah blah, this and that. Sure, it's still the biggest revenue source, and it's the reason you are where you are. But there's an expiry date on your body, and no better candidate for what I'm saying than Tony Ferguson. This poor guy. I mean, I'm heartbroken, man. I'm heartbroken.
Nah, name me a fighter that's came from a rich background. Like fighting's a poor man's
Exactly.
game. You know what I mean?
How about that Prince Naheem, the boxer? Come over the ropes doing
Yeah,
the front flipping shit. That guy. Was he
yeah.
ever any
I
money?
don't really know too much about his background, but I know BJ Penn grew up with money. There's a few guys, but for the most part, it's guys that came out, tough background. How many fighters are coming out of Calabasas? You know what I mean? It's like it's not too many, bro. And I don't
Yeah,
suggest they
because
do.
no, no. Like it's kind of
Shout
hard
out
to
to
go
Derek
up and
Lewis.
train at 6 a.m. when you're laying. Derek Lewis. Oh shit, Derek Lewis. He's the all-time knockout leader in the UFC now. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, dude. No, you're
He's got
correct.
17, 17 or something.
Something up there. It's a
It's
good
high
number.
teens. It's dude, that is amazing. Think about it. He's had,
Oh,
let's say, I don't know how many fights he's had, but it's not 30. It's like 20 something, and he's got 17 of those at a KO. And he's been fighting some of the best
jeez.
heavyweights in the world. And these heavyweight fights, man. They're so dangerous, brother. They're so dangerous. It's just like a shootout with Uzis. It's just not even Uzis, AKs, bazookas. These guys are nuts,
Yeah, and
nuts.
that was his last fight on his contract as well. So if he lost that fight, the
Oh,
UFC might have cut him. You know what I mean? But they can't do it now.
do you think that he could ever go to PFL or Bellator?
Yeah,
And
but
like,
why
do you
would
think?
you?
How
I
do you
mean,
think?
who
Here's
you?
here's a question. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
No, no, go
Why
ahead.
would you? Because UFC is the biggest company in the world. But doesn't Bellator
Hmm.
pay more fair, and they can get the sponsors and stuff?
Sure, but no eyeballs on you,
Well,
really.
that's true. I can't
Let's
tell you
not,
who the
yeah,
Bellator heavyweight champion is. I couldn't tell you. They do have
Nemkov
some
or
great
whatever.
fighters though.
Like, yeah.
See, exactly, exactly. I did like that Douglas Lima guy. I don't know if he's still fighting or whatever, but that guy, I watched a little bit of his. He was popping up on the radar a bit.
Hmm.
Chiesa
Yeah, him and his brother
lost. Right, right. So Chiesa, who did he fight again? Who
Holland.
did he fight?
Holland's fucking Darce choked his
Holland, and
ass real
Holland
quick.
Darce choked him with those big ass limbs of his. His fucking
Yeah,
elbows like
man.
up to
After
here and
getting
shit,
Darced
man.
by, he got Darced by Hamzat. Comes back and Darce's
Right.
Chiesa, and
Oh,
Chiesa's
that's
got
right.
Darced twice now.
So
Yeah, he's got
when
Darced
Chiesa
twice.
came in, he's been in the UFC for a while. Was he not a submission guy? I seem to remember him being the rear naked choke guy or whatever. Am I no?
Hmm.
Yes.
No, he's got a great ground game. I mean, he's not a striker. He's definitely a
Not good
ground game
enough.
guy. But he's a guy that's came up from lightweight. Holland's coming down from middleweight. Little of a size advantage, but Holland's also a high level black belt under Travis Luter. So don't count out that
Luter's
guy's
no joke.
ground game just because he lost to Hamza.
Well, he just choked
But
out
I
a
wanted to get into
UFC
this card this
fighter.
weekend. Corey Sandhagen takes on Rob Font. Who you got in this one?
I like Sandhagen. Corey
Hmm.
Sandhagen. He kind of reinvented himself a couple years back. He's kind of taken a more aggressive approach, and it's done him well. I think he lost to T.J. Dillashaw, if I'm not mistaken. And I
Hmm.
think Dillashaw didn't he retire after that? He just like his like body just gave up after that. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm done."
No, I think that was
I guess
after
so. There's an
Aljo.
expiry date. Aljo, right, right.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, because he had that little. It only lasted the first round, right?
Yeah, he no, it lasted the second round. I think he got hurt in the first round or something. His shoulder, right?
What about who do you got? I like Sandhagen, but I mean, I'm just a fan of Sandhagen. I don't know too much about Rob Font. I know he's been around the block. Maybe you can kind of sell him on me.
Yeah, I mean, he don't get me wrong. Rob Font's a great striker, great jab, great boxer. Leg kicks okay, but Corey Sandhagen's movement's so good. He can switch stances. He's got wrestling, and then he's also taking this fight. He was supposed to fight Umar Nurmagomedov, and he was a huge underdog going into that Umar fight. Now he's a huge favorite going against Rob Font. So great switch up for him, but I think he's going to crush Rob
Hmm.
Font. I think he beats
Yeah.
Rob Font
See,
everywhere. I would say this fight goes to decision. I'm assuming,
this is
but
on a
I'll take
mentality
Corey.
aspect. I'll take Sandhagen as well. This is in a mentality aspect. Corey Sandhagen took the sport of MMA and fighting, and he literally dissected it. I almost want to say scientifically, but also philosophically as well. He's been reading like books like The Art of War, the Nine Rings, or whatever it is, and all this stuff, and he's really embraced that warrior spirit, and it's really done him well. And he came close to scraping gold, and it's he's a good fighter. Watch him; he's still got a lot of kilometers left on the tires there. So I think he's the one to win this fight, and I'm glad that you agree with me. Now, would you
Yeah,
go medium, light, or heavy on this? You think he's gonna smoke him, right? So is this
I
gonna be
think
a
he's going to
medium bet?
smoke him. I'm going to post my bet, but you're not going to be able to see it. But post it. I'm taking Dustin Jacoby, who's an underdog, and I'm parlaying that with Corey
Okay.
Sandhagen, and you're getting 2.5 times your money. Great bet. I'm taking it much better than last
That
week's bets. So I'm going with this one. And Dustin Jacoby's a savage, great striker, taking on Kennedy and Jekwu. If you have never seen
Kennedy,
Dustin Jacoby fight, yeah, he's a
uh,
great striker, and
Jacoby. So this, and he's in. Why is he an underdog though?
that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what do they know that I don't? They have a similar opponent in Da Un Jung, and Kennedy and Jekwu lost to Da Un Jung, and Dustin Jacoby just murdered Da Un Jung in the first round. And Daunjug
So
finished Kennedy in the first round. I know styles make fights, but I'm going Jacoby all day on this one.
okay, and you're very confident of this, and you're gonna parlay because when we do the parlay bets, those are when you make the big bucks.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's risky. Obviously, that's why you get more of a reward. I'll do that one with you. I'll take Sandhagen and I'll take Jacoby, and that'll be my parlay. And I'll bet some money to recover what I betting on Dustin. But again, the fight was so close, I didn't bet that much. You even stayed away from it, but I
Hmm.
for shits and giggles, bro. For shits and giggles.
All right,
What
next
is
up
it
we got
about?
Diego
Oh,
Lopez take on Gavin
oh, you still
Tucker.
got more.
Diego Lopez, this guy's a monster. He had his first fight in the UFC against Movsar Evloev, aged 21, and looked great against Movsar Evloev. Or sorry, 28. Yeah, looked phenomenal against Movsar Evloev. And Movsar Evloev, top 145er, undefeated Russian good, and almost heel hooked Movsar a couple times. So his jujitsu is insane. So I'm going Diego Lopez on that one.
Is he parlay
What about
worthy?
your boy Tanner Bozer, the Canadian?
Tanner Bozer. Never heard of this guy, bro.
The bulldozer, bro, Tanner Bozer. He used to fight at
Tanner
heavyweight.
Bozer. Okay, so
He's coming off like a
he's
bunch of
lost a
losses
little bit
though.
of weight. Yeah, he looks like a
Yeah,
sweet man.
he's
But who's he fighting?
Alexa Kimura. I haven't really seen too much of this guy, Alexa Kimura. I think he's only had like 3 fights in the UFC, coming off 2 straight losses as well. But I think Tanner Bozer gets that one done. Just way too experienced for him.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. This guy's on the come up, and you've never heard of him, so he's obviously nothing too special. Maybe I
Yeah,
could be
Tanner
wrong.
Bozer I'm a fan of, but Alexa Kimura I haven't really seen too much of him.
All right, so I'll
Let's
sprinkle a
see
little bit
here.
on them.
A great bet actually to add to a parlay is Ignacio Bajandez. Lightweight bout, lightweight fighter. He's on a bit of a win streak. I know he lost that his first fight to John Makdessi, split decision loss, but beat Roosevelt Roberts, which is impressive. Wheel kicked him, 3 straight wins. And if you guys notice here, look at the height difference. Six
What's the height
three.
difference?
Well, 6'3" is Ignacio Bajandez, and Ludovic Klein is 5'7".
Yeah,
That's a big
jeez,
difference.
that's a big one. Anything over
You're
5 inches
5'7".
is yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's a tough day at the office. Who do you think takes it? The taller guy or
I
the
think
shorter
yeah, I'm
guy?
going Ignacio Bajandez on that one, easy. And I'll just bang out
You
some of
seem a
these
lot more
ones.
confident in these ones. You seem very confident in this card.
I like, to be honest, these big pay-per-view cards are a lot tougher, and the odds makers are really on point. They're putting more odds makers on the big pay-per-view cards because these small cards, not really too many people are betting on them. So the odds
Hmm.
makers aren't putting their heavy-duty guys on this one. They don't really care too much, right? They're focused on the bigger events because that's where the money comes in, on the large events. So I do
If I
the
am
opposite. I bet
correct,
bigger on the small events.
yeah, I was just gonna say that you've made more money betting on the ones that nobody really researches, like Tanner Bozer. I never heard of that guy, but you're like a fan of him, so this is why I tune in, brother. This is why I tune in. I get to figure out about fighters I've never heard of, and you know, winning record, winning formula. You don't fuck with it. It's good.
Oh yeah.
Who's next?
So Kyler Phillips taking on Hani Barcelos, 28-year-old versus the 36-year-old Kyler Phillips. When he came in to the UFC and he beat Yadong Song, I was like, I'm sold. This guy's for real. Once he beat Yadong Song, I was like, I'm in. This guy's insane. I know he lost to Julian Paiva 2 years ago, but it was a majority decision, and he's been looking really good. Even his last fight, he looked really good. So I think at this age, Hani Barcelos sort of on the way out. I'll take Kyler Phillips on that
He's
one.
the younger fighter, I assume.
Yeah, Jeremiah Wells, Carlston Harris. I'll lean towards Wells. Now, this is actually an interesting one. Billy Quarantillo taking on Damon Jackson. I'm surprised Damon Jackson is an underdog here. I know he lost his last fight, but before his last fight, he took out, what's his face, Pat Sabatini. And Pat Sabatini is for real. Lost his last fight to Dan Ige, 50K, but no shame losing to Dan
50K
Ige. Dan
Ige.
Ige is for real. 50K Ige. Billy Q,
50K
he's
Ige.
he's got some good fights under him. Like, he beat Alex Hernandez, but he's got what? He's 2-2 in his last four. I'm just leaning towards Damon Jackson, so I'll go with the underdog on that one.
All right, little fun
And
little
the
bet right
last one
there.
I'm going to
Okay.
touch on here, I'll take Jake Hadley, take Sean Woodson, and this last guy, Asu Almabaev, coming pretty new. He's going to be his first fight in the UFC, so he's going to be, new guy in the UFC. O'Day Osborne, a little more experienced, but this guy's for real. He's on a 13-fight win streak from Kazakhstan, and he's the number one ranked guy
Okay.
in Asia at flyweight.
And what's this guy's
So
name one more time, please?
Asu Almabaev, if I'm pronouncing it correctly,
Asu
it's a
Almabaev.
little difficult name.
I gotta admit, you're getting better at the pronunciation of these very foreign names that are like from Russia
Uh,
and Korea and China. You're getting very good at the pronunciation of it. Good for you, man.
I I try, bro. I try.
You try and you do. It's
um,
good.
yeah. So I'll take Asu Almabaev, 13-fight win streak. I think he should
I'll
slice through
take
O'Day
Alsu
Osborne.
Amabaev too.
Yeah, and he got some crazy Russian name or something like that. Like, yeah, we'll take that guy.
Takes like a minute to, like, I remember when I had to I said, okay, what's this Habib guy's name? Okay, what is it? KH? What is this shit? And then it was like Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I literally broke it down into syllables. I was like Nurmagomedov, and I had to say it fast and fast until it just rolled off the tongue. But I understand how hard it is to pronounce these names, and if you got that big Russian names, I don't understand why they don't just do a little nickname, right? Like Habib
Hmm.
could have been the Russian bear for the American audiences, and then
He's the eagle, brother. He's
whatever,
the eagle.
the eagle, the bear, whatever, some fucking animal with talons.
You ever hear Tito Ortiz trying to pronounce Khabib's name? He just gets it wrong every time. And Joey
Oh
Diaz,
man, that
kebab.
guy's
He calls him kebab.
that guy. Khabib. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Yeah. Khabib. Call him the Khabib. Is that it? That's all
Oh
the
yeah,
fights?
yeah. That's
Okay,
all the fights. So
you seem a lot more confident about this card. You seem a lot more sure about where your money's gonna go. I like your confidence. I'm in. I'm gonna watch this again, and I'm gonna pen and paper and take the bets, and let's see how we do, man. I have no pick
yeah,
on this
so
fight because
I'm
this is
taking
underground.
Sandhagen, taking Jacoby. Lopez is a good bet as well, and I'll go with Bajandez, and I also like Asu Almabaev. So some good picks on there, especially if you parlay them, you can make some money. But I'm
I
surprised by
like making
Dustin
money.
Jacoby such an underdog. That's interesting to me. I still don't understand that. Is his ground game that bad or something? Because
Could
it's
be
not that bad.
injured. Like, is this the other guy in the
Hmm.
juice, or what's going on?
Yeah, he's been subbing guys, but man, I think Jacoby if he keeps it standing, I think he's gonna knock Kennedy out. So I'll take Jacoby
I
all
like
day
your
on that one,
confidence.
brother. I
I like the
know.
confidence. All right, I
Yeah,
guess
man.
nothing else. I'm good. You good?
Yeah, brother. Good to see you again. Hopefully
That's it.
we can
All
do it
right.
again. Out.
Thank you. That was UFC 291, and that was the recap and the picks for next week's UFC. What's the name of this one? Does it have a name or a
It's
number? Or
UFC Sandhagen first font. It's just a fight night.
Sandhagen font. These little
Yep.
cards. There's a lot of money to be made. So keep betting and keep smiling. Out.